everyone, and welcome to Dixie's Corner podcast. Yay!
Yay!
I have W8ofGlory with me today, and as you can see, we're going to be talking about Twisted Tale novels.
Twisted
Ooh. Fun,
Tales.
fun, fun. I have not read them all. I've read So This Is Love, On Birthday, and I'm currently reading Go the Distance in our book club. It's not too late to join that. I'll have a link in the bio for that. Um, So we're just gonna kind of dive in there and talk about them. I think we decided overall there are 12 currently released books.
Yes, there are. Yep.
We have the first one being an, A Whole New World. This one was written by Liz. I'm gonna butcher this last name.
Ras-
Barswell. Bros.
Raswell.
Yeah, that one. That was released in 2015. And overall, this one talks about the what if. So Twisted Tale talks about what if this happened versus this happening. So we all know that in Aladdin, overall, you know, Aladdin gets the lamp, Aladdin uses the genie to pretty much save the world, and Jafar loses. And he wins the princess, right? Aladdin wins the princess. But in A Whole New World, I haven't read this one yet. In A Whole New World, the scenario says, what if Aladdin had never found the lamp? So it just talks about if Jafar got the lamp and his first two wishes were to become Sultan and the most powerful sorcerer in the world. So what would have happened if that happened? So have you read this one? Wait.
I have. I have read all of them.
Oh God,
Um,
I'm behind
so
the times.
yeah, you're just behind the times,
I am. I just got into reading. Okay.
Hey, it's a good hobby to pick up. You can jump into like a whole new world by jumping into a book. Like the old Reading Rainbow TV shows.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's a pretty good one. Like you were saying, like the premise of all these books is that they'll kind of take like one little thing about the story and tweak it and see like, okay, where's it going to play out from here. So, and it's kind of interesting to see like some of the books, they'll change things like in different parts of the story and kind of like go from there. So something like um I think one of the books, the oldest, as old as time, is the one that is the story of Beauty and the Beast. And so the thing that they change about that one, like the Aladdin one, was, well, what if Aladdin never found the lamp? Well, the other one is, what if Belle's mother was the one who cursed the Beast? So the enchantress at the beginning of the movie is actually Belle's mom, and so it kind of it's like that one kind of twists something from the beginning of the story, and you kind of see like where it goes from there.
Hmm.
And something like Part of Your World, which is the Ariel one, is what if Ariel had never defeated Ursula? So then that one kind of picks up almost like post movie, because it's like something that is toward the end of the movie that changes. And so
Right.
the story kind of goes from there. So it's interesting to see as you're reading each book kind of like what they change and where they change it. So
Yeah, and one thing about the Twisted Tale novels is you have numerous authors. It's not just one author writing all 12 books. So you have Liz, you have Jen. Oh God.
Kalanita.
Thank you. You have Elizabeth Lim, which I love her writing style. It Elizabeth Lim's books. I read So This Is Love. That was the first Twisted Tale that I ever read. And this one was written by Elizabeth Lim. Pretty much it's if what if Cinderella never tried on the glass slipper, and that one was written in April of 2020. So this literally was the first Twisted Tale book, and it grabbed my attention to want to read more into the Twisted Tale books. Um, One thing, who was the other author? And more recently, they have Farah Rochan, Rochan,
I'm not sure about that. Rokon, maybe.
Rokon, maybe. She's writing the one coming up, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, She's writing the one about the Princess and the Frog that's coming out in September this year, September 6th. This year it's called Almost There, and it is if Tiana made a deal with the Shadow Man. So there's like a whole bunch of them coming out next year, and there's an untitled book coming out in 2024 or 2025, depending. And a graphic novel, which we just figured out, which I think that's going to be interesting. But one thing to remember about this is definitely a young adult era kind of reading.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished on birthday, and let me tell you, I'm going to be honest, I did not like that one. It took me, how long did it take me to read this book? 6 months? 4 months?
Well, yeah, but you picked it up and you put it down for a while,
Yeah.
and then picked it up again later after I kind of encouraged you to finish reading it at least. But um,
Yeah.
I will say, um, Unbirthday was one of the more challenging ones to read. If you're not quite as familiar with like the original Lewis Carroll Alice in Wonderland,
Yeah.
because a lot of the writing style for that one, um, and I think that Liz Braswell, who wrote that one, she did a good job of tying it not only to kind of like if you've ever watched the Alice in Wonderland movie where there's just like so many crazy and zany things that are happening. It's just like it's a land of like nonsense, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so that one, along with kind of like the Peter Pan one, which is the Straight on Till Morning, um, and that one doesn't do it quite as much as the Alice in Wonderland just because of the style of writing and the style of the book that Lewis Carroll took when he wrote that book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. But they're both kind of set in that I guess older time in like England. So there's kind of like if you look at those two stories, they're kind of similar in that they take someone, a character from like the real world, and interject them into the fairy tale world of like Neverland or Wonderland, as opposed to some of the ones that are strictly based in like a fairy tale land on their own. And so it's kind of interesting to see how those ones compare to the others, just because it's taking something from the real world and inserting it into that fantasy world.
Right.
I think is kind of neat. But I can understand and see why you might find it hard to appreciate that older English
It's,
style of
yeah.
writing.
That's part of the reason why I like Elizabeth's writing so much is she's more of a modern writer. Um, in her style of writing, just from the one book that I've read. Now, I haven't read the other books written by her, but everyone reads. Like, We8 has a more intellectual reading style than I do. I have a more of can I jump in the page and imagine that I was in there kind of style. I had a very hard time with Unbirthday. Now, Unbirthday's main what if is if Wonderland was in peril and Alice was very, very late. And that was released September of 2020. Excuse me, my voice is very raspy today. Um, I it took me a while. It took, I was at the point with Unbirthday that I was like, okay, I am like chapter 5. I don't like it. I'm going to put it down. I'm done with this one. And it
Uh,
took a lot of read the book, finish the book. I think you'll understand it. I think you'll like it. And it wasn't just from you, it was from other people too. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like
you
the way
didn't get there, didn't get
I
there,
didn't it never got there for me. And I didn't
but
like the way it was ended.
maybe maybe that's funny. We won't do any spoilers there for anyone who wants to
No,
actually
no
go
we
and read the
won't.
books and stuff. But and I'll put in the plug for Unbirthday since it wasn't Dixie's favorite,
Yeah.
but it's still it's a fun story for me. I enjoyed it, and that one again too. It's like it's not Alice as she was as a little girl in the movie.
No.
She's like she's grown up, and so she's had that grown up in like a Victorian England style, and so now she's like looking back and say, okay, hey, was all these adventures I had in Wonderland as a girl, was this real? Is this in my head? Is this imagination? Um, and so it kind of intersperses um, her England life with with her imagination with Wonderland and the Wonderland. Hey, is this real? The things that I'm struggling with in the real life, do these correlate to Wonderland? What's it's an interesting read, and definitely one of the more challenging ones for this one, but definitely not a um, to one to look at and say, hey, I struggle with this one. Still give the other ones that Liz Braswell writes a shot too, because the part of your world and As Old as Time, Once Upon a Dream, Whole New World, those ones are, it's a whole different style of writing because it's based on a different work, if you know what I mean. So
And we just started, like I said, we just started a book club, and our first book is Go the Distance, which is part of the Twisted Tale. That was released last year in April. And I got through the prologue, I got through chapter one, and based on just those, I'm really enjoying this one because it takes the end of Hercules and tells you what happens afterwards. So, but it not only that, but it takes it from Megara's perspective, and we all love Megara as a character because she's that damsel, she's in distress, and she can handle it. And it's just creative. I'm really liking the writing style. It's easy for me to comprehend and understand and be a part of. And this one's by Jen. So, yeah, yep, he's got the last names here. Um, and it's not too late to join. Like I said, I will have this posted up as soon as we're done with it, and the link to the Discord. So if you're interested in reading any of these books, we're definitely going to be reading them in the book club that we have. But right now, I did start What Once Was Mine, but then I didn't get through it because we decided to go with Go the Distance because that was a book that everyone had. Which is a Liz writing What Once Was Mine. And I think so far she's done a better job in that one.
I think you'll like that one more than the Allison one.
Yes. So far I'm liking that one better. But I cannot read two books at once. I have to read one book at a time. So
wow.
I didn't get too far into it. So I'm good for where I ended at in that book. So you've read all of them except for the ones coming up. Which one is your favorite out of the 12?
Which one's my favorite? Well, I'll come back to that real quick. I wanted to kind of touch a little bit on you were talking about the book club and everything.
Yeah.
Kind of tossing in there a little bit. Like you were saying, we're reading that Go the Distance one. I think next Tuesday you were gonna say like let's have like a kind of like a discussion and everything on it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to do like next Tuesday in the evening. Talk about like the first little bit of it. It's kind of fun. It's a fun thing to kind of do, and it kind of gets the opportunity to kind of chat about, and I think something like that might have helped you with Unbirthday if we had gone through like that.
Yes, and I'm
kind of talk through. But so it's kind of a fun thing to do with the books and kind of see where everyone else is at and how they're reading it and things like that. But
well, not only that is I think I'm willing to go back to Unbirthday if I have like a group of people to read it with. And these are people, you don't have to physically read it. I know some people who have the audiobook because they're at work all the time. I'm that person with the audiobook. I am at work all the time, and I turn it on and I do my work, and I'm listening to the book as I'm doing my work. I actually was typing an email last night and listening to the book, and the book got really good for a second, and then whatever she was saying, I was typing in my email, and I was like, wait a minute, go back.
backspace.
Where's the backspacer in here? But I because those that aren't aware, I literally work, stream, family. That is my lifestyle. Family kind of mingles somewhere in the middle. Like currently today, my mother fell. It was fun. I'm yelling at her in my head while she's taking care of things she needs to take care of. But I don't have time to sit down and actually read a book unless I'm in the car. So like
Mhm.
I try if I'm
Audiobooks can be great.
I love audiobooks. I
Yeah.
feel like I really hear the character with an audiobook because the way I read is very bland. It's very bland. I just kind of read. I don't like put any twists, turns, or anything on it. I just read. And so This Is Love. Ooh, I love that book. I recommend starting with that book. If We Ate has a different uh, suggestion, that is fine. I definitely
Uh-huh.
recommend starting with So This Is Love. Um, but that may change when I start reading the other books.
Go through
You
other ones.
know.
That's right. So,
Um,
you had asked me which one was my favorite, and I like a lot of them like fairly equally. There's not a lot of them that I like really disliked reading. I will say that some of the ones that stick out to me, I really enjoyed Part of Your World, the Little Mermaid one. That one was
oh,
a good one, and like I said, that one was another one that kind of like the Hercules one, kind of twisted the ending, so
mhm,
it really kind of like took it in a different direction um, than some of the other ones that may have changed like something in the beginning. Um, so you kind of see a little bit of, I guess it almost puts more of a twist on it.
mhm,
Um, because of twisting the ending and so much changes moving forward that it's almost kind of like almost a separate story in a way, um, because you're changing something that's like towards the end, so you're almost moving forward in a new direction, I guess, is kind of how I would describe that one. But I really enjoyed that one. I enjoyed let's see, what else did I enjoyed the What Once Was Mine, the new one with Rapunzel. That one was a good one. um, and I guess probably the only ones that I wasn't as much a fan of, the Mirror Mirror, which was the Evil Queen, Cinderella or Snow White story, and the Conceal Don't Feel, which is the Frozen one. Those ones I felt like um, the twist wasn't quite as much of a twist as the others, in my opinion.
I see a
Which
pattern here.
Yes, I like the ones that twist and kind of like really branch off. You know what I mean?
Not only that, but all of these books that he has pointed out are his favorite are written by Liz. Just pointing that out.
Well, I really liked, and that's why I said at the beginning, like I really like a lot of them, and like Reflection was cool. The Mulan one,
I was
that one
just
was amazing,
reading
and
this. I
I
was.
enjoyed So This Is Love too.
Oh,
So,
So This Is Love was
um,
amazing. Amazing.
I know that's see that's
It's my
that's like your
favorite.
favorite, and it's like one of the two that you finished. So,
Yes. Um, so I'm reading the Reflection one. This says that she has to travel to the underworld.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay, that's the next one we're reading. Um,
Yeah, because he gets wounded. Shang gets wounded in battle, and where so she wasn't able to like save him. Where in the movie she like tries to save him, but she wasn't able to prevent him from getting injured there. And
uh-huh.
so kind of twists from there. And that one was a fun story too. I do like Elizabeth Lim's writing too.
And the good thing about these Twisted Tale books, you do not have to read them in order to understand them. So
Hmm.
if you're a Cinderella fan, read So This Is Love. If you really like the dark, crazy world of Alice in Wonderland, read On Birthday. You know, if if you don't want to read humongous pages, I think A Whole New World and Once Upon a Dream have fewer pages.
Those were the first two, yeah. And I think I
Yes.
think that they were kind of like the starting point of
Yes.
step,
Both
like
of them were written by Liz.
a little bit
Um,
shorter, as they were kind of first picking up the series and getting into it and everything.
Now, how did you get into these books?
I was just looking for something on Amazon to read and buy, and I saw the Beauty and the Beast is the first one that I read, As Old as Time. I saw that and I was like, that sounds like a cool concept. And I'm trying to remember when I got it, because the first one came out in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one was in 2016. I think when that Oldest Time first came out was when I got into it. So I think I've been reading them since about they first when they started in 2016. maybe early 2017. But that one was kind of like the first one that I really read. And I saw it, and I was just reading the concept, and I was like, oh, that's fun. That's a fun concept of what if the story that like I'm familiar with was twisted in some way, and how would that change the story? So I bought it on Amazon, and I read it, and I was like, yeah, these are worth getting. So I picked up the others, and just as they come out, I've just kind of picked them up as they came out. So
I think overall these books have nothing but rave reviews. Um, and I'm just reading on the wiki page here. People are throwing out ideas out here. Like, there's somebody who says they want something with the Lion King called What If Nala Returned to the Pride Lands and Defeated Scar herself versus Simba doing it. That would be interesting. Um, and a bunch of questions about who does the covers.
I see there's one comment down here, which I was thinking it's an interesting thing about the ones they've come out with so far.
Mm-hmm.
The one person asked, they said, I've been wondering which side characters would be more interesting for Twisted Tales. And they say by side characters, not the ones that are the main focus of the film. So, um, like with the one that the Hercules one, it's focused on Meg as opposed to being focused on twisting something about Hercules.
Right.
Um, and so that's an interesting thing that I had kind of noticed reading that one, is that most of the other ones twist something where it's like it's Little Mermaid, it's related to Ariel, or um, the Aladdin one is related to Aladdin, or Belle, Beauty and the Beast. So it's like it's something that's twisted, but about like that main character, and it's definitely an interesting one to do when you pick like a side character and kind of flesh that character out that you didn't see as much of that character in the movie. And it's definitely kind of cool to see Meg get fleshed out in that book there. So
And I see later on in 2023 we have a collab going on with Liz and Jen. They're doing a collab. We don't know what the title of the book is. We don't know who the character will be about, but that will be in 2023. Um, Elizabeth is doing a Pinocchio one in 2023. And then Almost There is this year in September. You can buy these books pretty much anywhere books are sold. I get most of mine at Target because they're 20% off. Fun fact. Now, when it came to me, for anybody that has watched the YouTube, the stream, or listened to the podcast, we all know Dixie is a full-on Disney fanatic. Anything Disney she probably owns. So I was in Walmart and I was telling Chris, I want to get involved in reading. And I had been working in a factory and I had read the other books based on the villains themselves. Forget who they were written by.
okay,
Valentina.
I think I've seen those, but I haven't read those ones.
Yes, those are written by Valentina? Let me think of her name. But I started with her books, and those books you have to read in order to understand them.
Okay, so kind of like almost not really, but like kind of like the Once Upon a Time, the TV show, that kind of picks like a different thing each season, but there's things that have tied the whole season, like ties in previous and everything.
Those books are written by Serena Valentina, and those are mostly based on the villains themselves. Technically, they have Beast listed under the villain, like a villain person. But that's where I started with, and those were mostly audiobooks because I was working at a factory. I could have earplugs in, and music I couldn't concentrate. So I focused more on the books themselves. And I had seen a lot of good comments or reviews on Amazon about the Twisted Tales. So I had bought the audiobook for A Whole New World, was going to start it, and I never actually started it because I got involved in some other stuff. So I still have the audiobook for that. But I was at Walmart and I was like, oh, this is a hardcover book. So this is Love. I got that one. I got On Birthday. And I got Another
Go the
book.
distance.
Go the Distance. Yeah, I got that one. All three of them were at Walmart for like $6 a piece. And so I bought them. And I started with So This Is Love. Read that one in like 3 days. Loved that book. Loved that book. Did I say that I love that book? I love that book. Um, and then I had finished it before we met the first time at the tabletop. I had finished that, and then I had bought the Wizard of Oz book because I love the Wizard of Oz too. Haven't read that book yet. It's too big. I don't want
Oh,
to.
you're missing out. You can
I
do it. You can do it at a time because it's that book is actually 5 books in one.
oh my god.
So
I I
so
I get
they're
scared.
they're actually not well no, it makes it less scary because it's they're shorter books.
Yes.
But it's in one collected volume. So if you just want to read like the first original one, you read that and it's like 100 and I don't know whatever pages out of how much is in there. But that's a quick read. I read that one too because I picked it up when we were down there too, and I did read that. So that's a
Yeah.
quick read.
The quick read for you, not for someone whose vocabulary is the size of a toddler.
Oh, you put yourself down too much. I
I
have
do. I don't have a very large vocabulary, but I pick up words that other people use. And if I don't know the word, I'll be like, "Okay, what does that mean?" And then I'll use it more frequently. Um I in my writing I need to use bigger vocabulary words. It might take up more space on the page. Um but So there are 12 books. You don't have to read them in order. I don't know if we went over all of the titles.
I don't
Um,
know if we did. Do you want to run through those real quick? I can kind of run down them here.
yeah, that's fine.
Um, so we have A Whole New World, which is based off of Aladdin. Once Upon a Dream, which is from Sleeping Beauty. As Old as Time, Beauty and the Beast. Reflection from Mulan. Part of Your World, The Little Mermaid. Mirror, Mirror, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Conceal, Don't Feel is Frozen. Straight On Till Morning is Peter Pan. So This Is Love is Cinderella.
Great book.
Unbirthday is Alice in Wonderland. Great book. Go the
Ugh.
Distance is Hercules, and then What Once Was Mine is Tangled. With the only other title actually being announced, there's Almost There, which is Princess and the Frog, that's coming out this September, and then an untitled book about Pinocchio in 2023. Those are the only kind of confirmed subjects of the
Novels.
books.
So if you are interested in reading any of these, one, join the book club. It's not too late. Um, I
Starting next Tuesday is the first discussion. So
First discussion, and we are more than happy. I understand that a lot of people are not part of Pacific, Central, or Eastern time zone. They're like overseas and they're a day ahead or something, and it might be 3 o'clock in the morning. That is fine. There's actually a page or a little section in the book club area with the title of the book that we're going to be reading. So right now there's a Go the Distance section, and you can feel free and talk about it in there. Like if you're reading and you come across something that you're really interested in, be like, who has read to this page number? And whoever's read to it, you can have a whole chat on about
Mhm.
it. I
Yeah, if
have
there's like a question or a point of discussion that you kind of want to raise or bring up, just kind of post it there. And anyone who wants to kind of chat about it can use that space there.
um there's also a meeting section. So if like on the 6th of April when we actually meet for the first time, we'll go in there. But you can also go in there and you can read as a group if you want to. So, like with Unbirthday, I probably will be using that quite often. And I'll be like, who wants to read to me? Because that'd be amazing. Um, but these books I think are really, really good for those who are young adult. I think
Or just love Disney.
or if you love Disney, they're 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 definitely, I think, especially on Birthday, I feel are more based for young adults because it's kind of dark and heavy and
Are you talking like young adults versus like kids, or young adults versus
young adults versus kids. I would not have your children reading these. Um, like elementary school. If you're in high school, sure, why not? Go ahead. But I would not say like your eighth grader that has like a level 5 billion reading level. I understand that's not a real reading level. I would not recommend that. Because there are some areas in these books that probably aren't smitten for kids. Now I haven't read them all, mind you, but the ones that I have read, I probably would.
Like you say, young adults.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went on a ramble. Yeah. But definitely don't have to read them in order. And they're good books. And I like I said in the beginning, I really like that there's different authors. So you get the sense of different authors throughout the entire collection. So you can find them on Amazon, Target, Walmart, any bookstore pretty much. Where else? You can get them online, Apple. You can buy them on Apple, Kindle, pretty much anywhere. Their reviews are sky high. I highly recommend them. And I don't think there's anything else. I definitely will be putting in the comments the wiki page and probably Target's book collection because most of the books there are, like I said, 20% off marked down. So anything else that you want to touch on?
I don't think so. I think you covered it all. Just if you're looking for a good fun read and you just enjoy reading and enjoy the Disney books, feel free to join us for the book club. Or if you don't have time for that, pick them up and read them for yourself.
Yep.
But definitely a fun read, and I definitely recommend them.
Yes, and I think the artwork cover of the books is amazing too. Let me just throw that out there.
They are pretty cool.
The artwork is really, really good. So, thank you. And we will be back with episode 3, which will be talking about customs and how to get started with customs for Disney Villainous. And then shortly after that, we will be doing a review on Bigger and Better. Everyone have a good night.